Hello, my name is Jason JROCK Houston, and you're listening to Under Influence. Tonight we're speaking with lead singer Jill Marie Burke, and Jill, you're in the Pat Benatar band called Live from Earth, and you guys are based out of the Los Angeles area. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, I came across your Facebook page a couple days ago. Are you guys relatively a new band, or have you been around for a while?
We are pretty much kind of new kids on the block, definitely.
Okay.
We had our first show on New Year's Eve, pretty much 2014.
Okay, wow. So, what was that show like?
We did Paladinos.
Oh, okay. Wow.
We rang in 2014 about an hour before midnight.
Okay, wow. Now, I got to ask you, Joe, because looking at the pictures on your Facebook page, you do look quite a bit like Pat Benatar, but I want to ask you, is that something that you kind of work at, getting all dressed up as Pat, or is that part of the reason you're doing this because people always told you, hey, you look and sound like Pat Benatar?
A little of both.
Okay.
A little of both. I've been thinking about doing this for a couple of years. I mean, you get to a point in your career where you've dabbled in everything, and I've been following the tribute scene for a little bit, and noticed that there weren't many Pat Benatar tribute bands, or shall I say, any bands that I thought were, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you make the point that
I thought no one's really doing it justice. I mean, I didn't want to attempt this. I thought someone's really got it covered, and I thought, wow, this might be a little window of opportunity to finally just do something and do something well. And Juan Del Castillo of GSB, who I've known for over 10 years, kept taking me on to do it as well. So I finally got it going over a year ago.
Wow, because you make a very good point. A lot of times with these tribute bands, they got to have a niche. I mean, for example, there's thousands and Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple tribute bands all around the world, but and usually like anything in life, the ones that are the ones that really got the talent, the cream rises to the top, and the ones that don't have a talent, they kind of fall by the wayside. But I kind of look at this tribute scene as like a rock and roll theater, if you will, and you make the good point that I can only think of one other Pat Benatar tribute out here in the LA area, and she's been doing it for a while. But I think everybody needs competition. I think that's the great thing about what you guys are doing, because there's finally somebody else out here, talking about you, Jill, doing Pat Benatar, and so people are going to now have another Pat Benatar tribute to check out.
Yeah, I mean, the more the merrier. I mean, I have a competitive nature, but at the same time, this is a great community. Everybody's been so cool to each other and welcoming, and whether they hire my Benatar band or they hire another one in the area, it's totally fine. I mean, it's all really in tribute to one person anyway. And it happens to be somebody that I grew up listening to, since I was, maybe 10 or 11 years old. And so, she was one of my female influences throughout the years. Someone like her, someone like Linda Ronstadt when it comes to rock music. But I've been doing musical theater. I've been doing session work. I've just been, again, dabbles in everything. And then I thought, just as you get older, I'm like, can I just sort of have a project of my own? Make no mistake, I'm not a songwriter.
Uh-huh.
I'm just an interpreter. That's part of my acting. You give me a script, I'll bring it to life. You give me a song, I'll bring it to life in the studio or live on stage. And Pat just laid it out, and I love that I can keep a female rock image going. I just think that sort of is lacking. That we don't really more female hard rock singers. That's sort of fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Pat Benatar, Joan Jett, definitely, but and the thing about those two ladies is they're still out there rocking, today in 2015.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And talk about when Pat Benatar first came on your radar. I mean, what are your first memories of first? How did you discover her music?
I had siblings, and luckily, I had my mom and my sister. I was the youngest one, and suddenly just probably their choice of music appeared in the household. But I don't know, for some reason my mom really took to her, and I don't know if she saw something of herself in Pat or saw something of us in her. She's very conservative, but she just loved what Pat Benatar did, and I took to her immediately. And Pat's this tiny little person and with this gigantic voice and big presence, which is what I've ended up turning out being. This tiny person in this gigantic voice. And Pat always had such class. She's a rock star, but, you know, she's not rude at any point in time. She's never had one rude thing to say. She's just, if there's a sophistication or classiness about her, that's what she brought to rock and roll, and in on of like a 5'2" package, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you take somebody like, you know, Pat Benatar, we were mentioning Joan Jett, and even like Courtney Love. A lot of times these women are very outspoken and very, you know, they say exactly what they think, but a lot of times, being so outspoken, you know, a lot of times it gets misinterpreted, oh, you know, they're a loudmouth or whatever, but I think, you know, like Pat Benatar especially, she's been around for years, she's still doing it, and that just says something about, you know, her strength as a, you know, artist and human being, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if I had the opportunity to meet her, I probably wouldn't even discuss music with her.
Yeah.
Probably discuss woman issues. I'd probably discuss her family and just discuss all other aspects of the business, of what it was like to be a female in rock and roll, which is still so dominated by men. And it's, you know, it's interesting running a band, and thank God I have veteran LA musicians in my band who are patient with me and teach me a lot, because they've been doing this particular genre a hell of a lot longer than I have. And they think it's something that they feel that they want to stick with. They think the band has massive potential, and they believe in me, and I certainly believe in them. They're great group of guys.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I was reading on your website, you know, that you got these veteran musicians in the band, which is a great thing. But what's it like for you, Jill? You know, being up on stage with these guys? They're veteran musicians. They've played on, you know, music scene for several years, but yet you're still kind of a front woman, the eye candy, so to speak. Where when people come to shows, as great as these musicians are, no doubt most people have all eyes on you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's something to get used to. It's an adjustment for some reason, and I don't know why it is, because I've been the front person in other aspects, in a musical theater production, or a play, or on camera. For some reason, I'm just it's a little new to be a female rocker up front.
Yeah.
I guess I'm still feeling some kind of that women are supposed to be backstage or down in the pit watching, and I mean, it is still a minority, and I don't know why women can rock it out just as much.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even you know, in 2015, there's a lot more even in heavy metal music, there's a lot more metal bands that are fronted by women, and it's just I think a really great thing, you know. So I understand.
I think the public's way more critical of women.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got to watch every movement, everything you wear, everything you say. I mean, it's going to be critiqued immediately, so it's a little less forgiving. But that's fine. I mean, certainly not going to chase me away from doing it.
Yeah. Now you guys have a show coming up, I understand, tomorrow in Long Beach at the PCH Club, which is a great little club down there I've been to. Have you ever performed there?
No, that's going to be our debut there, as a matter of fact, tomorrow night. Yeah, we go on at 9:30.
And so, is this the first show you guys have done since the New Year's Eve show?
No, I mean, that was our first show. And then, I mean, it is slow going, but it's definitely picking up. And again, new kids on the block when other bands are out there and established. It's, you know, it does take time. It doesn't even matter how good you are, the potential, you have to sort of just earn your stripes, be longer year round. You know, month after month, they know who you are, but it takes a while to get, you know, to be brought into certain venues.
Yeah,
so once we did Paladinos, we've already hit both House of Blues in Anaheim and Hollywood. I think we did Jan's Marketplace out in Thousand Oaks. We've done some stuff in Riverside.
Oh, cool.
Some stuff in downtown LA.
Yeah.
It's all been kind of spread out. And then this tomorrow is kind of like our first gig for this year, and it just takes off. And all of a sudden there's a big cluster of them.
Wow, I can't wait to see that, because like I said, I follow the tribute scene pretty regularly, and until I came across your Facebook the other night, I never had heard of you guys, so I'm glad to hear you're starting to really make some serious noise, because amazingly enough, what you may not know, Jill, is a lot of these tribute bands have been around for years, and if you get the right players in your band, you know, you could do good business. I mean, even like with what you're doing with Pat Benatar, I mean, I look at the photos, and you know, the thing is, Pat Benatar's still out there touring, like we said, but you know, kind of the way you look is how she looked back in her heyday. And the great thing about, you know, a tribute like what you guys are doing is, if you look enough like Pat Benatar and you sound enough like her, and people come to the shows and they love the way that you and the band are performing the material, not only are they going to come and see you guys again, but you know, you guys can almost become as, you know, famous doing the tribute thing as if you were a, you know, original band. I mean, you take a band like Led Zeppelin, or even the Iron Maiden as an all-female Iron Maiden tribute. They've taken their thing worldwide, and it's just amazing, you know, how success you could have with a tribute band.
Yeah, it's a bit of a science to get every little factor to fit in correctly. I mean, and it's like in any kind of band, in any situation, it could be a tribute band, another type of cover band, or whatever. You get the right musicians, the right look, it's all going to gel together. And when it does, then it's great. Like, we thought about maybe adding a fifth musician eventually. And I thought, you know, I really believe in the power of four musicians on stage.
Yeah.
I've gone to see Queen Nation, and it's four guys, just like Queen, and those guys kill it. I love those guys. They've kept it to four, and no need for anything else. And I'm like, I'm sold on that.
Now let me ask you, when you decided to put Live from Earth together, did you right away come up with a decision that you were going to dress the part, so to speak? Because I really dig when bands, you know, do that, as opposed to being a band where you just get up in your jeans and t-shirts, and because to me that's basically just a cover band. When you take it to the level of what you guys are doing, I think the great thing about that again is, you know, somebody who's a diehard Pat Benatar fan, maybe if they go to see your show, they you know, they remember. You can take them back to the day when they saw Pat Benatar for the very first time. I mean, I actually experienced that scene at Guns N' Roses tribute. You know, and I mean,
I mean, you do. You look at old videos and you talk to people like, what did you remember? What did you walk away most with remembering about herself or the band or who or what? You know, there isn't anything in particular about, say, what the band wore.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just visual. There's a definite look about her, definite things that she wore that are memorable. And it's funny, at first I wanted to wear outfits that were just sort of resembling that. And I think I'm kind of changing my mind that I'm going to go a little more literal. And, you know, I wanted to stay away from that, but you need an immediate eye catch. It's like, I remembered you wore that. So I'm playing with that. It's just how the band's going to evolve.
Yeah, I think that's the best route to go, because I mean, it depends on the band too. Because for example, this other band I recently interviewed and went to see, they're called Project UFO. They pay tribute to UFO. You know, Michael Schenker, great rock from Britain and stuff, in the '70s and stuff. And none of the guys necessarily look the part, but the thing about it is, there's not another UFO tribute out here in Los Angeles, and so they kind of got that. They kind of got that market down, and they don't necessarily need to look the part, but they got the music down. So I think it all depends on the band and everything. But I think it'd be very smart on your part to continue to try to look the part, because if you look the part and you sound like Pat, that's going to be bringing people to to the shows. They're going to want to, because to me, I call it rock and roll theater, because that's exactly what it is. You're playing a part, so to speak, but at the same time, being the musicians you guys are, you got the talent, you got the look, and you got everything required to bring to the table to keep the fans coming back.
Yeah, I try not to get carried away with the lip sync, because of course to me the most important thing is, does it sound great? Does it do her music justice? So you just keep making those tweaks along the way. And like Kenny Metcalf's daughter, who I think manages him, and she's given me some great advice, and she sort of has pushed me in that direction. She's like, you got to come out and not really talk in as Jill, but then not, I don't want to literally be like, Pam, I'm not that. I don't want it to be freaky. It's a tribute band, but it's walking a fine line. You got to just do it peaceful, and I don't want it to turn into a circus.
No, I mean, Kenny. I'm glad you brought up Kenny. He's a great guy. I've interviewed him several times, and the great thing about Kenny is, like, even if you look at any of his videos or anything he has online of his performances, there's no doubt he's paying tribute to Elton John. And you go to a Kenny Metcalf show, and you almost for a minute are like, is this Elton John, or is this some guy doing Elton John? And that's how good he is at what he does. For example, and I think the point he's trying to make is, you want, when people come to your show, you want to take them back to a time, special time in their life to remember. For example, in his case, there's no doubt he's paying tribute to Elton John. He looks the part, and like I said, you have to take a double look. And is that Elton John? Okay, no, it's some guy doing Elton John, but he's that good at what he does.
Exactly.
And Kenny's such an amazing performer. I think Kenny's such an amazing performer. I've seen him. He has performed on that tribute show, TV show, the World's Greatest Tribute Bands, twice. Once with his own Elton John tribute, and then last season they had a double dueling piano with the guy that did Billy Joel, and then they were doing Billy Joel material and Elton John together. It was just a great show. So I mean, even though
I was actually at that show.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why a lot of these tribute bands, they have, like in Kenny's case, they have the ability to continue doing this for years, because they don't just keep doing the same show. They keep adding stuff to their shows. They keep evolving, and I think that's the trick. And like when you see a show like Kenny Metcalf, he does not come off as a rip-off artist, some guy that's just trying to rip off Elton John. You can see the guy has a love for the music. He's doing it from his heart, and I think that's the other thing,
Oh, you have to. There's, of course, there's nostalgia involved, and it takes you back to when you were a teenager. Where were you when you heard this particular song? And does it make you feel the way you did when that song was released? I've had women come up to me at the end of shows, and they're starstruck, but then they're so appreciative, and they're like, oh my God, I loved that music, and I'm so glad that somebody's doing it, and that you can still have the balls to wear these kind of outfits, and it's great. And women, go women rockers. I mean, they just feel inspired at the end of the show, and give me hugs, and that's actually the best part of the show is at the end of the night when you get to talk to fans and friends that have come and seen the show. It's the best part.
And like in a case like Pat Benatar, her fans are so diehard that that's why you gotta be able to be dead on, and because they're gonna check out every little aspect of your show. They're gonna know if you got one single word wrong, and so I think that's I think that's a true test. That's how you know if you're on the right path, because if people keep coming to shows and people like what they're seeing, that you're on to something here.
Oh yeah. There's a couple times I've gotten up on stage with Time Bomb, and so the funny thing is that they didn't introduce me as Jill at first. It was in the middle of their set, and they said, and then, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome to the stage Pat Benatar. I go in and I sing, hit me with your best shot, I'm done. I walk off, happened the first time, and he never kind of clarified that who I was or what band I was in.
Wow.
And dang it, people were coming up to me, and I think they were a bit confused, or they really just thought it was Kat. And I said, okay, so you guys, we got to clear this up. I'm not out impersonating her, and there's no way Kat's going to come to Hermosa Beach and sing on stage with you guys. We got to go on Facebook and just make sure that people know it was not her and it was me and blah, blah, blah. That I could see that backfiring, but it was hilarious at the same time.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you another interesting story, Jill. I interviewed this guy. His name is Chris Van Dahl, and he did the Legends for years. He imitates. He does a tribute to Steven Tyler, and he said Steven Tyler's lawyer got wind of what he was doing and sent him a cease and desist thing, and Steven, exactly, yeah. but the cool thing was Steven found out about it. And now, he says him and Steven are now the best of friends, and every year he gets invited to his New Year's Eve party in Hawaii or whatever. And he says, you know what, F my lawyer, you don't listen to him. He goes, you keep doing what you're doing. I love it. And he said that one year at this New Year's Eve party, they played a trick on Steven's own son. You know, this guy walks in, it's supposed to be Steven Tyler, and the guy totally thinks it's his dad.
Oh, God. See, that could get weird, you know.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how some of the original bands have reacted to tribute bands that are out there. Like when Heart was brought on to World's Greatest Tribute Bands this last season, you know, it was great when they actually got a plug from Heart themselves on Facebook, you know.
Yeah,
so they're obviously very welcoming of it. They're cool about it. And then I think there's some bands like Journey who, I don't know which guys in the band aren't particularly fond of any of the tribute bands that are existing, like DSB and such. That, you know, so there's the extreme. You know, either they like that they exist, or they practically want them to, you know, cease and go away.
And so let me ask you, in regards to your stage outfits and stuff, do you get your stuff custom made? Do you personally design your costumes?
That is probably my next step. I mean, not probably, but it is. I'll probably have somebody now kind of custom make them. I myself have assembled them. But this is probably hard to believe as a girl, but I really, really hate clothes shopping. I hate it. Beyond belief. So having to go out and shop and find things that not only are very specific and look 1980s and fit me like a glove, it's becoming such a hardship. So if anybody's listening and wants to design my clothes, that would be wonderful, because it's getting too hard for me to shop for them. But so far, no, it's just been me looking at stuff and out pulling stuff from the racks.
I mean, so like when you guys do a show, does it take you a long time to get into your Pat Benatar garb, so to speak, or your, you know, like Kenny was saying, you know, your Pat Benatar vibe?
Yeah, I do laugh about some of them. I said, okay, you know, whatever. I had an interview before one of the rock fantasy shows that I was actually doing with Kenny Metcalf, and the last quote they used from the interview, and I said, I got to go and pour myself into my leather outfit. But they're tight. They don't leave much imagination, I guess, or they do. It's just some tight outfit. But so that keeps me on my toes and active and running and such. I gotta keep up this shape, you know.
Yeah, and
I'm no spring chicken.
And how hard, you know, which is another reason I have all the respect for you doing what you're doing, because you know, you like I said, you look like Pat Benatar. You got the part down. You look very youthful in the pictures, very professional when you do so it seems. Now, I was curious, like the band is called Live from Earth, and I was reading on your website that that's named after her 1983 live album. So I was curious, did that live album in particular have any special meaning for you, or is that just kind of a name you came up with for the band?
Kind of just a name that you came up with. There's a lot of footage. I believe there might be some of the footage I've watched was footage that they ended up using the audio for that live album. But actually, the live album itself isn't something I'm fond of listening to, because it's just all the production side. It has nothing to do with the performances. But the way live albums are produced now are so so head and shoulders above everything that was back then. You know, they did one live album and just, you know, it's what do I say? You know, they mixed it and mastered it. I'm like, God, I can barely listen to it, and it's sad. Like, dang it, you know, the performances again are great. They took, I think, from a couple of locations, so it's like maybe 2 concerts blended into one. And why we went with the name is because most other bands had already
been taken
names of their songs, and I said, okay, I don't want to be so cliche. I said, we're not using Precious Time, we're not using Heartbreaker every single title, so we got to come up with something else. And it's a little bit of an education. Nobody knows Live from Earth was a live album of hers.
Yeah. So that's the cool thing. That I like you said, a lot of people know you know, like Hell's for Children and all the hit songs and stuff. I never heard of that, so I thought, okay, that's kind of an interesting thing. People now go find out when what's Live from Earth. Oh, it's a Pat Benatar live album. So I think that's kind of a cool thing you guys are doing it. Oddly enough, not even necessarily being a major fan of that album. But like, it's interesting, like you said, back in the days, I remember live albums like Deep Purple, Made in Japan, Peter Frampton Comes Alive, but you know, Cheap Trick, Live at Budokan.
Actually, the Deep Purple one from Japan, I was listening to a track of that today. That didn't even bother me as much as the Live from Earth live album. Yeah. Some of them were just either done just better than others, the production aspect of it. Although I did kind of laugh at the end of one of the songs, that the Deep Purple, the audience was so polite, and I said, why is there barely clapping? And I was told it's in Japan. I'm like, oh, duh, it's the Japan audience.
Yeah.
Just so polite.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard from, you know, musicians that have played in Japan. They tell me that you know, like you're saying, the audience is very polite. They're really into the music, but they just have a thing about you know, allowing the bands to perform and stuff, and they don't you know, they don't throw stuff up on stage. It's just a totally different vibe.
Oh, anywhere, even in Europe, they're so into it, but so reserved, and so when it's time to applaud, they applaud, and they applaud very politely and very lightly. You don't really understand if they've had a good time or not until you speak to them afterwards.
Yeah. So let me ask you now. You guys have, like you said, pretty much done shows out here in the California area. Are you open to get to other parts of the country?
If the contract and all factors involved, sure. I mean, absolutely. I love to travel, number one. I think we did have an offer or two, but no, I don't know what the details and the itinerary and all things falling under gotta be right. One of the offers was like, oh, that's good if you're like a college band and you're just starting out and you're all like 20-something.
Yeah.
Don't own anything, aren't married, no kids, and if you get paid $1, you're really happy. So,
yeah. And so,
we're talking, everybody's mature and been around, and nobody needs to be babysat in this band. And I know that's hard. It's like we're already coming in seasoned, but it's a new band. You gotta, you know, earn your stripes. So it's interesting.
Now let me ask you, because one thing I love about the tribute bands is there seems to be like almost a fraternity among the bands where, you know, they're really a lot of friends with one another. They try to help each other out, as opposed to maybe if you were an original band, you know, original bands tend to compete with one another and not want to help each other out necessarily. But for example, a lot of times, do you headline most of the shows you do, or do you open for other bands?
We haven't opened for anybody yet, but we are teaming up with Hollywood Blondie.
Oh, wow.
Which we're going to do a show together on April 3rd in Huntington Beach. I'm totally open to the idea for that as well. I have no problem with sharing the bill with somebody. I don't care if I go before or after. I mean, it's all about, well, if we team up, that means the place is going to be full. Your bands come in and our bands come in, and you know, I'm totally down for that.
And is it just a matter of trying to find bands that you guys can fit in with? I mean, for example, I don't imagine you'd want to open for a Metallica tribute band necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, then you have to sort of team up with sort of the right band that's going to, you'll both complement each other or get the right same type of bands, of course.
And as far as booking your shows, do you have a manager that helps you, or do you pretty much, conduct all the business for the band as far as booking the shows and that?
We have a few promoters that we've worked with so far, which is great. Right now, starting out, we don't have a particular manager that's just working for us or us and a few other bands. That would be nice. I would like to hand over those responsibilities to somebody. Again, this is in an area where, the business aspect of this is, some of it's very new to me, and if I don't know it as well, so I get frustrated with it, and at times I'd rather be just the artist rather than artist, manager,
and everything else.
Manager, tour manager, even though I've had experience with all those things, I think it's easier to just stick to one.
Yeah. And as far as booking shows, like, do you guys typically like just get a flat fee for the shows you do, for example, or have you ever had to do what's called pay to play?
Oh, pay to play? No, we're not going to pay to play.
Yeah, the reason I ask is, that's still going on out here in, Hollywood, here in LA, and a lot of the clubs, even with the tribute bands, they have to guarantee the club that, okay, we're going to get so many people in here. They've given so many tickets, they usually give them away for free. But the thing usually is, you don't get paid unless you get the guaranteed number of people in there, and then if you don't get the number of people in there, you don't play that place again ever.
Well, I mean, it depends on the place.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not going to brag about it or talk about what place I might decide.
Okay,
we'll give this one away for free just because of the location or the situation. But I'm not going to walk into a place and pay someone to play there. I'm far too old for that.
Yeah.
And places like House of Blues, sadly, are maybe one of those places where you just do it because you want the big House of Blues emblem in the back behind you for photos, and you do it once, and I'll probably not be too keen to do it again, kind of thing.
The House of Blues, though, they've been really welcoming to the tribute bands. I've seen a lot of tribute bands at various House of Blues, in LA here, and Hollywood and Anaheim, like you said, those are two that I go to a lot. And they're just great places. A lot of times they have tribute nights where you get to go see 3 or 4 great tribute bands, and I think it's people are getting something for their money.
It's great to get up there and do it, But it's certainly not a big money
maker.
Why anybody's doing it, but it's House of Blues, and you get people in, and then you get all your photos, and you get out there. That's great. It's great.
So like a band like you guys, you would tend to probably make more money like at a little maybe hole in the wall place that people that isn't as well known as say like House of Blues, just because maybe House of Blues gets the bigger share of the profit.
Yeah, if we negotiate it right. We did a show, our band at Rockwell, Table and Stage on Los Feliz, because I've been performing there for other types of events and shows for years, and I said, hey, I want to bring my band in, and again, you negotiate it right, and that's what you're going to get the split at the door, and I was able to pay my band members, and that was very important to me, and it was on a Monday night.
Yeah.
So we made out nicely for a Monday night, because there was already a built-in fan base there, and that was a great little show.
Yeah, and you bring up an interesting point. When you do a tribute band like this, you've automatically got a built-in fan base. I mean, people that are Pat Benatar fans, I mean, they're going to come check you out just to see if you've got the goods. And then if they come to your show and they like what you do, they tend to come back, to see you guys every time you come to town. And again, that's kind of a great thing. Is Pat Benatar, she still tours today, but she doesn't tour like she did back in the 80s, So I think it's another great opportunity for Pat Benatar fans to come, check out somebody who's performing her music,
Oh, absolutely. When she's out touring, she's from the East Coast. She's from Long Island or Jersey. I want to say she's from Long Island or Jersey originally.
Yeah.
And so, she tends to do a lot of shows there, even though she lives out here in Malibu. And when she's out here in LA, she'll always do the Canyon Club. So I can pretty much like scratch that off my list of a venue that we'll ever do.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, Pat's doing it. No, they're not going to bring in anybody else to tribute band for Benatar.
And
she's right there in her backyard in Agora Hills. How easy it is for her
to do it.
Show there, and she's actually doing a show next month at the Saban Theater in Beverly Hills.
And I got to ask you, Jill, what do you remember going back in time, the very first time you ever seen Pat Benatar perform live?
The first time I saw was at the Canyon Club.
Oh, okay. That's cool. And what like, do you have a favorite album or a song that that you particularly just love what she does?
Probably my favorite album is Precious Time.
Okay.
And I pretty much just had that playing in the background over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And, particular songs in there, Promises in the Dark, the title song, Precious Time. I mean, all of her stuff I love.
And a great...
what I spent most of my time listening to.
And a great thing about, tribute bands, too, is... obviously, people, like I said, you got a built-in audience. So people come to the show, they kind of have an idea what they're going to see when they see live from Irv. Okay, Pat Benatar tribute band. They automatically expect to hear like, Hell's for Children and all the radio hits and stuff. But how hard is it for you to come up with a set list? I mean, you got to play the hits, but do you ever throw in some of the lesser-known tracks that maybe you're more of a fan of? It you say, okay, I want these people to, I want to play this song for the people so they can be more aware of it.
We are definitely doing that simply for show length.
Yeah.
There's certain venues that want us to do 3 sets.
Oh, wow.
And if it's all Benatar stuff, or mostly Benatar, we've had to dig into her repertoire and do tunes that are still kind of recognizable, but they weren't, say, the radio hits.
Yeah.
And we've had to narrow it down, like, is this going to sound good with just the 4 of us? It's not too full of keyboards or too, 1980s, real produced sounding. We've got to kind of consider a couple factors as to how or why to pick the song. And with that said, we also do some non-Benatar songs, again, to fill out at least, say, 3 sets worth of music. So we also do, like, a Zeppelin.
Oh, cool.
Heart.
Wow.
We do Blondie. We do Queen. We do all the other ones that would have been bands that I know she was influenced by.
Oh, okay.
And at the same time, does it sound great with 4 people on stage? And, I think pretty much everybody was influenced by Zeppelin. So we got to pick the right Zeppelin tune.
I mean, even seen a performance Ann Wilson did performing Stairway to Heaven that just went viral. So, that's like... Yeah.
I saw it at the LA Fair, and I think the best part of the whole show was her encore, was the medley 3 songs that she did of Zeppelin. I mean, I was pretty much in tears at the very end. That's why it was just a mess.
Yeah. Well, Jill, it's been great talking to you now. Before I let you go, is there anything else you'd like to let us know about? Like we said, you have a show coming up tomorrow night at the PCH Club, which is a great little club. People have never been down there. I definitely suggest you guys go check it out. And
will you be there?
I'm going to try to make it down there. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I'll do my best to get down there.
Yeah, well, you should come see us live. We have shows coming up in Huntington Beach.
Yeah, I might be able to.
We have a Sagebrush Cantina, like in June. They are lining up. You can check our website and our Facebook page. And definitely in it for long run, and hopefully
I'll see it.
Tribute bands will go to season 6, and I kind of got my eye on that.
Well, I wish you luck with that, because I think you guys definitely are on your way. So just stick to your guns, as they say, and all the luck to you.
All right, great. Well, thanks for having me on.
Okay, well, do me a favor, Jill. Just send me your email later. I'll send you a copy of the interview. Thanks for doing this. I really appreciate and enjoy talking to you.
All right, I'll send you my email, and then just send me back the MP3. That'd be great.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right, great. Thanks a lot.